on your back.
In the right ear only.
Mr. Producer, is that little remote control there with the lights? You slip that on down to like 80% or something like that.
I already did that.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Oh, then never mind.
Do you want it down to 20%?
Yeah, we can keep lowering it.
No, I just...
what kind of ambiance do you want here?
So scorching my corneas, my retinas.
I want to reach my hand over there and
there you go.
Scratch myself whenever I get a chance without you guys noticing.
Yeah, Sean's breath smells like anus right now.
Well,
who's anus?
That's your fault, Jeff.
know.
Why buy that stupid shit?
Well, I mean, you're the one that bought soft-dried durian. Exotic tropical fruit comes packaged in a 5-pack, and you're right, it does. But you know what? It's got a very interesting and addictive taste to it.
So hold on, what is it? Durian.
Durian's a fruit. I believe it's from Vietnam or Thailand or somewhere over there.
And it smells like ass.
And it smells, and I bought this because I was hoping it was just going to stink to high hell. But when we opened it last week, it really didn't. But when I walked over there and Sean was chewing a piece.
It's very suspect. He looked at me like, did you just shit your pants?
It was...
Yeah, but it makes sense
bad.
now. Because when you brought the bag out, you were like, all giddy. you know what I mean? It's almost like breaking open one of those stink bombs.
I knew it.
Yes. Yeah.
I knew it.
It smelled like this death. I don't know. It was bad.
It smells awful.
Well,
the taste is actually not as bad as the smell.
It's very unique. I don't know if I've ever tasted anything quite like it.
So the smell is evidently so bad. So if you guys are wondering what durian fruit is, it looks like a large elongated AIDS spore. You know, it's got these spikes like a sea urchin, so to speak. And when you cut these things open, the smell is so bad that certain communities have banned you from cutting it open.
Yeah.
In public.
Wow. You have to take it. You have to take it home to eat.
Nice.
You can't eat it in public. It smells so bad.
It looks like a spiked. What's the thing from COVID? A spiked something?
Spiked protein.
Spiked protein. Spiked protein.
It kind of looks like a small jackfruit.
Yeah, it's got all these little hairs off of it. Kind of spikes all over.
That's actually, whenever I see a jackfruit, I think that's what it is. It's like, oh, that's a durian, but no, it's a jackfruit.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, well, here we are.
Yeah, well, it's
another edition.
What is today? Today's February 18th.
It is.
Man, lots of things going on
today.
We
had Valentines last Friday.
We did.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was a huge love celebration.
Was it?
Yeah.
Nah, not really.
Did you do some deep impact?
There was no deep impact.
Yeah.
There were no flowers. There was no cards. There was no chocolates. There were no perfumes.
I made.
There was no lingerie.
I got some nice prime steaks from H-E-B. They're on sale.
Oh, that's right.
I sent you the info. You should have gotten them.
At the end of the day.
And I grilled those.
Are you good, Sean? So
you don't bring me flowers anymore. You know what? That was a song. It's It's Neil Diamond and Barbra Streisand. You know what? It kind of captures the moment of the way relationships can be for some people. They lose that magic touch. They lose the essence of romance.
But not on the commercial day of Valentine's. I mean, it's just a. It's just a commercial day. I'm so glad that my wife and I have agreed we're not doing shit anymore.
And I learned how to cry. I learned how to laugh. And I learned how to cry.
Oh, God.
All right, anyways, Dudes Like Us, February 18th. Thank you, Mr. Producer. It's the first half of our podcast, Dudes Like Us. I'm Sean.
I'm Paul.
And I'm Jeff.
Check us out on Dudes Like Us on Instagram and Facebook. We're there. We're also on the RSS.com feed.
We're everywhere.
You can hear us on most all the platforms. Just look at Dudes Like Us podcast. Be careful, because if you walk away from this conversation, what was the guy's name? Was the dudes? And you type in guys like us, it's going to take you to a very nefarious website. Do not click on that.
Don't do that.
If there's any dudes with any kind of rainbow onesie on, that is not Jeff. As much as you picture that when he talks, that's not him.
Yes, it's me.
It isn't.
It's nudes of Sean.
Oh, nice. Okay. So no video then. We'll never do video.
No.
Okay, that was an ender then.
Yeah.
Well, we've got new tools for manscaping. Are we going to talk about manscaping?
Apparently.
When did those
came out of nowhere?
When did the manscaping tools kind of come on? Is that when the whole metrosexual thing started?
How is the tool any different than the regular shaver?
Well, let's back
it's more gentle on the scrot.
You know,
oh really?
So it doesn't get in there and get chewed in the teeth.
Includes the man.
It gets all tight. And you're like,
maybe on Jeff's stalks, he's got over his body. He's built like a freaking Bigfoot Yeti. You know?
And your wife comes running in. What's wrong? It's all jammed in there.
My clipper's all in uproar.
It's pulling.
It's overheating.
My clipper got jammed.
It's pulling.
But that's a big deal. As a man, you not necessarily need to manicure and shave yourself. I mean, it's recommended that you keep it down to, as far as your hairs, you don't want 3-inch hairs all over your body.
You don't want
outside of that, you're brushing your teeth and manicuring your fingernails is important. I mean, I think it's important. When I look at somebody, they don't have to have a dashing smile, but they need to look like they just didn't eat pasta and macaroni and cheese.
Or broccoli.
Yeah.
Got some broccoli.
Yeah, that, but it's just look nice. Dress for success. Cut your nails, trim them. I don't need to see dirty fingernails.
Poopy
Women don't like that. Maybe some do.
Well, the women have nice long fingernails.
Yeah,
that are still poopy.
Yeah,
but they paint them so you can't see the color coming.
That was
through.
a meme. That was a meme. Someone sent this woman with short fingernails, and then versus a woman with long fingernails, and one says poopy, not poopy, because the one with long fingernails isn't able to get up there.
That's gross.
It is gross.
Well, how do they wipe their?
I don't care.
Stuff
I
off
don't
down
care.
there.
That's why we you
6-inch
need a
nails.
bidet, or you need some
bidet,
flushable wet wipes that you can wad up and throw in the
Toilet.
waste basket, I guess.
Yeah. Well,
Are the flushable ones really flushable?
They are not.
Well, I mean, according to some, yes. According to people like Chuck, no.
They are not. I had to pay a plumber to unclog my pipes. So.
Oh, what are you talking about? Whose pipes?
Well, no, not just like real pipes.
You did just have a third partner.
You just have a colonoscopy though, didn't you?
Well, like I'm talking.
Shelley, I'd like to introduce you to David.
PVC pipes.
He's a Sagittarius.
Under the house.
He likes bourbon, and
Wow.
he's going to unplug your pipes.
Okay. Anyway, yes, it does clog up your pipes. So don't believe that it's flushable. I recommend you roll it up in toilet paper and throw it in the trash can. It doesn't stink. That's great.
Anywho,
what if you're just like a super mess? You're just like, God.
It might be a 3-wiper.
I think it has something to do with the size of the flushable wipes. They make flushable wipes that are large, like 10, 12, 14 inches. Those, not so much. First of all, they make they're like for old folk. There's a neighbor that lives by me. He sells stuff to old folks' home, and one of the things he had was an oversized wet wipe to clean yourself.
Okay.
It could be a bath.
It's like a towelette.
Yeah, it's a large towelette. Like this thing was like 16 by 6. It was large.
Oh wow!
I was kind of like, wow, I can get like 20 wipes out of this one.
Definitely
thing,
don't flush that thing.
Yeah, well, it was I would get clogged huge.
Yeah, for sure.
I didn't use that one, but I just thought I'd share. They're out there. In case you're wondering,
it's a body wipe.
I can't help to smell my own breath now from this durian, this soft-dried durian, exotic tropical fruit.
That is really gross.
Yeah, how do you think I feel?
Well, just
I'm
bouncing
reminded
back at
it
you.
is. I'm going to have to take a dip into this specialty whiskey that we're not going to talk about yet. Hold on.
We're also going to have to throw away the microphone.
Well, I'm the one that I'm not the only one, evidently.
Next time Logan says so, he's like, God,
he's like,
did Sean die?
Well, next time, I don't want him
Is
in
he
here.
decaying?
somebody
in
shoved
here?
this up their ass.
God knows. I've seen Steven
Oh, don't
hit the back of
I
his
don't
throat
wanna
with
know.
that microphone.
I don't want to know what happens on my microphone. I'll just pretend like it never happened.
Shh.
That may have been the previous microphone.
Wow. None of these topics were on the board.
No.
It's
that we've-
amazing how that
we've
works.
hit.
They were not.
Yeah, but it's February 18th, and we did have a wild Valentine's. I think we had a post-Valentine's excursion, did we?
We went to
I forget.
We didn't do anything on Saturday.
No, but on Friday we went to Holy Grail. They lost
right.
power.
That was actually fun.
That was a
Yes.
fun, unique experience.
In fact, I encourage that to happen more often. I think that it maybe having candles everywhere is not a good idea for fire hazard,
But they had the fake candles.
Yeah, they
it
were
was
fake,
nice.
But it was nice. It looked like a nice,
It was super cool.
authentic. That's what they used to do in the 1500s, whatever. That they had a couple lights out there. They were drinking, and then just some.
We had a fireplace crackling.
Yeah,
It was
you had
very
your phone
romantic.
out. Yeah,
It was very romantic.
we had a
Yes.
Bluetooth little
on
speaker.
your phone.
Had a fireplace on the
And
phone.
the crackling was over the top.
Oh, it was. It
There's
was like
too much crackling.
Well,
I
that's
think
really
we
wet-
did a
wet
live
wood.
stream through Instagram on that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks to Jeff there.
Yeah, because we were clubbing.
Paul was beatboxing or something.
Yeah, that was weird.
Why?
I didn't like that. Yeah, you look at. I'm looking at it from the phone, and Paul's kind of like, what's going on over there? What's
He's
he
got
doing?
his light going
He's
like this.
Oh, it was fun. We were killing it. Oh, maybe it was just me.
That was all going on in your head.
It really was.
No, it was good. The staff they were
Yeah, they were troopers.
They're troopers attentive.
Shout out to the Holy Grail, even though they're liberal as fuck.
Now
Shout out to them.
Now there was nobody else in there but us, I think.
Yeah, because they all were like,
yeah,
we
they
have
all-
no power, so we can't serve you. And they were like, but
Right.
they served us. They kept giving us beer.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
We paid cash.
That's why. No, she brought the machine over. They were able to take the card from.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. I paid at the end.
And what's funny is they were getting ready to. They were like, "I'm sorry, we've got to. Now we have to shut down." And then they were getting ready to shut down, and boom, the power came on.
Well, they had what, 40 reservations or something crazy like that?
Oh yeah, it's Friday. It was February 18th.
It was Valentine's
the 14th.
Day.
It was Valentine's on Friday, so they had and they were kind of freaking out themselves.
They lost a lot of money then.
They could have.
They could. Well, what came back on?
Well, yeah, but did those people cancel the reservation?
Well, did they know that the power was off? We did.
Yeah, they probably didn't even know. They probably showed up like business as normal.
Then that's perfect.
So, I want to give a shout out to Scott and Larry for joining us out there. That was good times.
Yes, it was.
And we got to do that up. Larry mentioned he wants to take the endeavor over to your house, perhaps.
Yeah.
Maybe do a round somewhere and then just go, or maybe hit Total Wine and then we head straight over there. I don't know. We'll see what happens.
The
only problem I have with that, and this is going to be stupid and bullshit, is that I'm going to get probably more inclined to get blown up at your house. But I'm thinking, I'm going to get blown up anyways. What the hell?
I was going to say, it doesn't matter where you're at.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, and that gives me an excuse to kind of clean up that room. And it's been neglected for way too long. So maybe I'll spend some time kind of getting it.
Well, it frustrates the hell out of me, the condition of our house right now.
Right.
It's just, I mean, I looked at that floor as you walk in, it's just dusty, muddy, and I'm like, well, I'm going to clean this. I'm like, it's going to get just as nasty, if not more, when they're doing their shit, and they're going to have a professional cleaner come out and clean it anyway.
Oh, yeah. No, but I mean, there are things throughout your house, like little divots in the walls or scrapes or, cracks and then there's things that you want to do, but you back burner them and they just kind of never get done because it's not a priority, right?
Right.
And that's kind of what my game room looks like. There's splotches on the walls and there's scrapes and shit, and I need to rehang some stuff and all that kind of stuff. So that would be a good reason to do that.
Well, there's a ton of painters out there,
Yeah.
True. Of course, you do it yourself?
I hate painting. I won't do it.
I mean, it is easy to do it, but at the same time, there's a lot of prep to it, and I don't like to be crawling on my hands and knees, putting the tape down.
I know
it's not.
Well, didn't the boys do a whole house and they prepped really good?
Dude, it was a fucking train wreck.
Yeah,
I spent more money fixing their problems than they made.
That's what I'm saying. And even when you put down the tape and everything, it bleeds through the tape.
And I'll tell you,
all kind of shit.
For those folks out there that want to do it yourself, if you haven't painted your walls in 15 years, those things have dried out. And it's going to take at least 2 coats to cover, especially if you change the color.
Well, plus there's dust that settles on your little texture and shit.
And it's going to soak up the paint, and that's part of it too. It's actually a lot of it. So what those boys did, one of them, Cody, went into one of the rooms and drew on the wall a large penis.
Oh no!
So the room was the room was white.
No.
I don't recall. It was off white, whatever. Drew a large penis. This big phallic symbol right in the middle of the wall. Then paints over it and shines right through.
And so now there's this glowing ghost penis behind your wall.
There's a penis on there, and they painted that wall like 3 times, and it still showed up.
Did
the owner see it?
I don't know. They kicked him out, and they never even really paid him.
Yep.
Whose house? This is not your house.
No. This was some.
I have no idea who this guy was.
There was a girl that the boys went to school with. It was her parents, and one of the kids had autism pretty bad, where they had to lock the doors from the inside. There were special locks, and it was a big deal for them to move out and get all this work done.
Sure.
But at the same time, and then they turn around and contract our boys to do the work. And in fact, Jeff, you were there with me when that dude showed up. He was kind of a dick.
Yeah,
so
he was.
So your son and your son together with another
boy, Cody. I think it was Cody, right?
And Cody.
Josh. Yeah.
And so it didn't go well, huh?
I mean, the boys worked hard. They really did. To their credit,
they didn't get paid. Huh?
It was I don't know exactly what they got paid. They didn't get paid near enough because part of it was taking off a bunch of wallpaper. And if you haven't taken off wallpaper before, wallpaper could be pretty difficult to take off unless
Sure.
you know what you're doing. And even when you do know what you're doing, sometimes that shit just doesn't come off.
Something always goes wrong.
You know, and there are processes
Always.
to do to be able to get past that. You know, with wallpaper, you want to perforate it with this little tiger's paw, they call it, and you roll it all over the board, makes tiny incisions all over it, and then you wet the whole thing down, let it sit. You get like a little bug sprayer or what is it? What is the weed little pump thing? You just
Right, yeah.
fill it up with hot water, and then you spray your walls with hot water
This is to get it off.
to get it off, and you let it sit. Don't fuck with it, because if you start fucking with it, you're just gonna it's just keep soaking it 2 or 3 times. So peeling the wallpaper, it just a little heat and you're done. Whatever. I mean, for those people out there that want to take off wallpaper, I don't recommend it. Just get someone else to do it. But if you want to, that's the way to do it.
Who sold this family on doing
The boys.
I have no idea.
The boys. It was
They
Stephen.
just went door to door. Hey, we'll paint your house.
No. There was this common friend they had. She was a senior.
I
They
see.
were a senior. Everyone was a senior. And Preston was like, well, my dad's the contractor. We can do it. And then, of course, the
no
boys,
way.
they were kind of like, we can do anything. Dad, you're stupid. You don't know what you're talking about. It's like, no, man, you need to do this, this, and this.
Oh,
and you need to have
no.
everything,
And
all
they
your stuff done.
They didn't do any of it.
None of it. They didn't protect the floors. They destroyed
no
that fucking
way.
house, man. It was just...
So did you try to fix some stuff?
Jeff and I went over there. I don't recall exactly what we did over there, but I know we spent some time over there trying to fix things, and I was like, why didn't you cover this with plastic?
Oh, no.
We
carpet got dripped on and all sorts of shit.
It was just kind of a wreck, but in the owner of the house, he was kind of like, I don't understand his mentality. It's kind of like, what do you expect?
You hired a bunch of 18 and 17-year-olds.
Yeah.
Yes, it's like, what do you think is going to happen? This is just a cheap motherfucker out there. And look, I get it. Not everyone has money. I fucking don't have money.
Yeah.
But at the
that's a
same
big
time,
deal.
that it's irresponsible to do something like that. Now, if you want to go over there and hire some kids and then you manage them,
Right, because you know what you're doing.
they're just simple labor.
Yeah, and you're
then
going to
fucking do
guide them
that.
the whole time.
But don't
and-
sit there and just relinquish your house to a bunch of kids that are idiots.
They did for like a week, didn't they? They
Wow.
moved
Something
out.
like that.
Yeah, they moved out.
That sounds awful.
And they had to do the entire house. Every room.
And it was a disaster.
Oh, yes.
Oh, no.
Yes.
So they had to do it all over again and pay somebody
I don't know.
professional.
Maybe.
I exited stage left. I
No shit.
attempted. The
I
guy
would-
stiffed him, and in return stiffed me because I was out a couple $100.
Oh.
I mean, it wasn't a lot, but it's still a couple $100.
Of course.
Because I went out there and paid for supplies. I did, and the boys just, I don't know what they did, man.
That's crazy.
Still a little irritating.
Yeah, it was. It was not a good scene.
All right, so Friday, yes, that was Valentine's Day. You did your steak. Your steak turned out good. Your
Well,
steak.
they're perfect
Okay,
medium.
they were
perfect
perfect.
medium, yeah.
All right, and then Saturday, I did my firewood thing. What'd you guys do on Saturday? Anything? Just kind of chilled?
We didn't do anything. I didn't do anything Saturday. I just took it easy, I think.
Yeah.
What day did we do pasta?
That was Saturday night. Yeah.
Saturday night. Okay.
Yeah.
So Saturday during the day, I wrote a report. I worked.
Oh, you worked a
essentially.
little bit. Nice.
Yeah, I worked a little bit, and of course, Tara, she clean mode. Good Lord. When she cleans, I don't know how many women out there, how many dudes like us out there have to experience their significant other, whether you're female or female, when they're in clean mode, just get out of their way. Don't try to help
When
them.
Julie gets like that, I'm just like, all right. She gets very focused, and if I'm not helping in any way, she's like,
Yeah, you're either part of the solution or you're the problem. And even if you are part of the solution, you're still part of the problem because
you're not
it's
doing
there.
it right.
It's there, and she
Yeah.
shouldn't be having to do that in the first place. Therefore, you're at fault.
I think what we do, we have separation of duties, right? So I don't try to help her with what she's doing. She doesn't try to help me with what I'm doing. And we have an even split of, you know what I mean? She's doing her shit, I'm doing my shit. And mine's usually outside, right? Outside. She's got inside, I got outside, and then some other things we kind of, do whatever.
That's
But
fair.
We have a good
Nice, good balanced.
Yeah, we do. We
effort
have a
there.
good balance.
I probably should take on some of that. I mean, I went outside this weekend. Embarrassingly, took down my Christmas lights. What is it?
I got a today
Where are the odds of
because
February?
Julie had a snowman wreath on the front. She's like, snowmen are winter time,
Oh yeah,
not necessarily Christmas, so it's winter. So she's
that
like,
works.
I'm gonna keep it up for a little bit. She took all the Christmas stuff down, but we got a letter from the HOA
Oh no.
saying you have holiday decorations up past the allotted time. You need to take it down.
Snowman is a holiday.
Yeah,
I didn't think snowmen were holidays.
Apparently it is.
That's funny.
That's
Yeah.
due to interpretation. I would contest that.
I just pulled it
Chuck,
down.
I need you to weigh in.
I don't weigh in on stuff like that.
Well, you can give us an unbiased opinion right now.
That's not-
actually,
that's
it's
not
very
your contract.
biased.
My holiday lights were up until February 8th or something like that. So I'm lax in that.
So you're the worst offender in
I'm the
your
worst.
And
Well,
you're, and you're
there's
the
still
president.
one with there's still one with lights up down the street, but I
Well,
was second,
but I mean,
second to
just
last.
from an HOA, a homeowners association perspective, I mean, I could see having a Santa Claus or one of those scenes, nativity scenes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's clearly. But
Clearly.
a snowman
Snowman's
isn't bound
winter.
to Christmas. It's a winter time. It's a winter
Yes.
thing.
So we also have a house on our street that is lined all the way around the top of the house, but it's all white lights. Is that
Are they on all the time?
all every night?
Well, they make those fish lights.
Yeah,
That
those
are,
jellyfish. Those are actually pretty nice lights.
yeah, they are, and they change for every holiday.
Change colors. They little nice pink.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't. I mean,
Valentine's Day.
their house is all lit up. Looks nice. I mean, I don't think those are holiday lights.
Are they LEDs like underneath the eave and everything?
Yeah,
Yeah, those are probably the jellyfish lights.
Yeah, maybe.
They're
Damn,
not
as
they're not
much
like the
money-
icicles, are they?
No,
Yeah.
As much money as I spent putting up those Christmas lights,
you
hell,
want to leave them up there.
I
yeah.
should have just invested in the damn other ones.
Jellyfish?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have no idea how much those are.
Yeah, I don't know yet.
I probably would have taken a little bit more time, but hell, I think it would have been worth it.
Yeah. Anyway,
Interesting.
so the
I'll entertain
exciting
that.
thing we did this weekend was Iron Root.
Whoa. What
What?
the hell, man?
What happened?
You're just going to gloss over our pasta dinner?
Oh, it was a cool. Yeah, that was a cool night.
It was, look, it's not just that, but it was the whole experience for the dudes like us out there that want to make their own stuff with jellyfish.
Oh, okay. What do we have here?
25, 35, and the fucking $1,000 controller.
Per foot.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
That drives me crazy.
Yeah.
The incorrect use of effect versus affect. Time of year can effect pricing. It's affect pricing. What the
I don't
hell,
know, man. How does that happen?
How does that happen? It's so bad.
All right, look. Let me go over this real quick. We got a busy schedule. So Saturday night, we got, was it Desiree, Shelly, and Tara?
Yep.
Got together and
They made their own pastas.
They went up. Well, we made the pastas.
Yeah, they wanted the men to make them pasta.
Yeah, so
from
we got
scratch.
we got
Nice.
2 cups of flour.
And
The
olive
special
oil.
yeah. Little teaspoon, half a teaspoon of olive oil.
Is it real
And
olive oil?
Eggs.
Well, it was what was there. I didn't think it was real, but
Was it cloudy?
I didn't put it in the fridge,
No.
but I'm gonna probably start doing that. Probably to give it a little test to see what's going on with it. And 3 eggs. So 2 cups of flour, 3 eggs, and half cup
pinch of salt.
half a tablespoon.
Mhm.
We didn't put any salt in it.
No salt?
I didn't.
I don't
know,
remember.
And then we just sit there and mix it. You got to take the out.
Knead it,
You make
yeah.
a little hole in the center of the powder, and you put the 3 eggs in there, and you take the outside and flip it on top. Take the outside and flip it on top.
Yeah, you need,
and then
you just mix it all up, knead it for a
you'll
long
knead
time.
the bread until you
Did you
just
make
get
like
the
cannolis or
Tara made some cannolis.
some manicottis, raviolis?
Yeah, she made it was sweetened ricotta cheese with some chocolate chips in there.
Nice.
And we never got to that program. I don't know what happened, but
Yeah,
we had these little bags filled with the pipe it in there, we're ready to go.
I didn't even see that part of it.
Huh.
Anyway, so once it's all kneaded up into a nice kind of smooth ball, you roll it out, right?
Nice
into
and flat.
super thin, and then you take
Except
the
if it's
little,
mine. I made mine thick.
Yeah, yours were thick. And
Very
then
chewy, kind of like calamari.
I started out kind of thick and thinner, and then thinner and thinner, like in my 3 batches. But anyway, then you take a little pizza cutter and you cut them into tiny little strips so they become spaghetti noodles.
Unless you're like Wes. He took the pizza cutter and cut so hard, I damn near think he marred
He
my
did.
fucking countertop. I was like, dude,
Really?
what are you doing, man?
Well, he definitely cut the cutting paper.
Yeah, I
cutting-
don't care about that. And you can hear it too. It's because you can hear the little because I think it's got some metal in there. I don't know what but it
Yeah,
was just
he
kind of
was-
funny. I was like, Wes, you're going through that? And he was like, oh, I don't think so. I am. And I was like, dude, I could see the veins popping out in your forearms
He's like-
as you're pushing it down on there. It's like you would just literally shit your pants pushing down.
Yeah,
It was funny though.
it wasn't molten metal. I mean,
Yeah.
it was
But-
just dough.
All in all, we Paul made different ones. Wes made different ones. I
was
made
fun.
mine really thick. They were supposed to be fettuccine, but they turned out to be I don't even know what to call them. They were.
It was neat.
It was a good experience.
I had never made homemade pasta before. That was
Did you make
fun experience.
was What are the bow tie ones? Farfalle or falafel or
I don't. I know what you're talking about. Yeah, we didn't do that, Jeff. We just made little strips.
just
okay?
strips?
Yeah.
You didn't
We're,
make
but we have
We're
the
not
maker.
pasta.
But
you know,
if
Like,
you
you
want
should-
those,
you
what
should've
you
make
do
gnocchi.
is you make a
ganache.
you do a strip of you make a little strip of
I have
the
a
dough,
pasta machine
and then you got a little
downstairs.
machine and just you roll it and it goes and it makes the little thingies. Or you get a pasta machine.
We got a
that does
pasta
the
where you
same
put it
thing.
in there and you just turn it. It goes,
yeah, we didn't do any of that. Okay.
well, if you'd have called me, you
we
could have
made-
used it.
We made cool little strips.
I actually have an attachment that fits on the side of the KitchenAid.
You should have used that.
Yeah. Well, I didn't get the authorization to. And I brought it up once and she was kind of like, she would
She
say,
growled at
she
you.
didn't say anything, but it was kind of like, she was like Zool, She came out of nowhere. I was like, easy, pipe it back there.
So then we
Chica.
boiled it, and then we put the sauce on it, and we ate it.
Yeah.
It was good.
Did it have meatballs or anything?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, there
We
was
had
a chicken
some-
meatball.
no, they were turkey meatballs.
Oh, I thought they were
They're
chicken.
turkey meatballs. They were
Nice.
large, 2.5 inch in diameter.
They were
real
good.
big
Did you get
boys.
those like at the Market Street or something like that? Or
I don't know. She pre-made
yeah.
them. No, she made them. She
Yeah.
rolled them up and baked them.
She loves this shit. She's good at it.
She really is.
She is. Yeah.
That's why I don't say shit. I'm just kind of like, how can I help? You can get out. I'm going over to Jeff's.
Well, and then we had some bourbon, and then we watched the hockey game.
That was exciting.
It was exciting.
It was. Wes left. He was kind of like, Wes isn't doing well.
Yeah.
Actually, he's doing okay. He had some sort of
he had a
a heart thing that happened. Damn it, it's happening again.
He
The blue
wasn't-
screen.
yeah.
I did the destructive reboot and just whatever. So he had something. This happens to dudes like us out there. You're
had a
you're
scare of
going,
some
you're going,
sort,
you're
yeah.
going.
did he
and
have
all of a sudden,
AFib or something like that?
he had something
Yeah.
similar to that. He had some sort of heart influx or something, palpitation that didn't sit well with him, and he went to the doctor to go get it checked out. And all in all, everything seems to be thumbs up, but it's still a scare. Anytime your life flashes before your
Yeah,
eyes,
you don't
you're
want
kinda
those
like,
experiences.
Yeah, I got the insurance. Well, you know what? Fuck it. I don't care.
I'd have to keep checking because when my dad had his heart attack, they initially thought that he was having pneumonia because
Right.
his lungs, he had it turned into congestive. He had a heart attack and congestive heart failure, and his lungs started filling up.
Yep.
So they thought he was having pneumonia. Well,
And they missed it.
2 or 3 weeks later, it was getting worse. They went in there and then they finally did the test. There's a certain test they do to tell if you've had a heart attack or not.
Yes.
They're finally like, "Oh, you had a massive heart attack."
That would piss me off.
I mean, it was too late. The damage
Right.
was done.
Of course.
That night it happened, but it would have been good to actually get him well, so he didn't have a terrible
Sure.
2 or 3 weeks.
Absolutely.
But
Absolutely.
have him keep checking, man. I'm
sure.
not saying it was a heart
So
attack,
when
but
he
there's
left, they put a monitor on him.
okay.
That's constantly monitoring him 24 hours a day right now. I don't know.
So I
what the
think he was
status is.
he was worn out. He was
Yeah,
tired.
he's worn
He
out
wanted to go home.
mentally, physically.
Yeah.
He's making an effort. He said I'm exercising, I'm doing this. So he left. He went home, take care of business, and relax a little bit. And we had the USA versus Canada. Canada.
It was a great game.
I didn't even know this was on.
Yeah.
I know. This is the fourth. So
walk
this
us
is,
through this. It's
Yeah.
no longer the All-Star game. They now have the
That's right. The NHL decided all the sports are having struggling with their All-Star, Pro Bowl and the NBA
Right.
All-Stars, and so the NHL decided to do a 4-nation face-off. Is right. So the 4 nations are Sweden, Finland, Canada, and the U.S. And so they had pool play for a couple games, and then you got a certain number of points, and then the 2 teams with the highest points, go to the finals, which is on Thursday night. And we played against Canada, and Canada is like the favorite, I guess,
Oh,
because they're like
Finland sucks. Look at that.
yeah, the Canada was the favorite, but the U.S. Beat them. And in compounding the excitement is that how Canada has been booing the U.S. national anthem.
So that wasn't a new thing. That's been going on for a while.
Oh, I didn't know
Yes,
about that.
That's been happening during some of the NHL games.
Is that since President Trump
Yes.
has taken over?
Correct.
Okay, and
saying
that's
the
because
51st state.
Yes.
well, that and the
Tariffs.
implication of the tariffs
And the threats and the trash talking that Trump does. I mean, I get it.
Yeah, but
he's dogging Canada and dogging their
and
leaders.
they need to be
Right.
dogged because they
I
need to get
don't-
their
I don't disagree.
shit in order.
I don't disagree. But anyway, that kind of led to it. And then when they played each other in the first 9 seconds, their 3 fights broke out. And
That
they
was
were-
amazing.
Yeah, and they were just scrapping. Yeah, there we go. We got a video of it. And the crowd was... And you know how it is. They can't do anything. The refs can't do anything until they go to the ice.
Right.
Because, to keep them from getting hurt, right? The referees. Yeah, so 3 different fights broke out. Anyway, so it was an intense game. And the U.S. won.
Yeah, so it was 1-1, and then 2-1, and then the Canadians pulled their goalie, and then it was empty netter, man.
Empty net 3-1, yeah.
So what if some of these Canadians and U.S. guys are on the same NHL team?
So it's interesting you say that because 2 of the U.S. players that got into fights are brothers. And the brother of one brother was fighting a guy who was on his brother's team.
Oh,
Not
really?
on his team, but on his brother's team.
Right.
So it was, that would be interesting. I don't think teammates would fight each other. You can't do that.
That's what I mean. What if it devolved?
He's saying
into
2 guys from the U.S. fighting each other?
No. He's saying
like 2 guys from like the Pittsburgh Penguins fighting each other.
Yeah, one was Canadian, one's U.S.
Wow, yeah, well,
correct. Teammates on an NHL team would not fight each other unless they didn't like each other.
No, she didn't. She loved you more.
Yeah. So anyway, it's going to be exciting Thursday night. It's going to be really intense, I think.
Yeah, I think so too. And you know what? And shame on Canada. I mean, when we have, I don't know this for a fact, but I don't think we boo other countries. And if I do, shame on us.
We did. So Finland.
This last week, right?
Yes, Canada played Finland in Boston. Like they have multiple sites, right? And the Boston crowd booed the Canadian.
So was this as a result of?
It was.
So this was reactionary.
Reactionary. It was totally reactionary.
Yeah, well, they need to put a post out there to be the bigger person, but at the same time, fuck Canada.
It's interesting. So, and they had a crazy thing happen a couple days ago with this plane crash in Canada.
Actually, fuck the haters. There's tons and tons of beautiful people in Canada.
Of course.
Yeah, tons and tons.
And most of them love America, right?
Yeah.
And they're not thrilled with their leadership and the censorship and the bullshit that they're going through right now.
And they got tons and tons
and they're
of
gonna make a
Canadian
leadership
actors.
change. They're gonna make a leadership change.
They have to.
Yeah. So it's gonna be good.
What was that breaking news with what was his name?
That's a guy from the Alex Jones show, isn't it?
Yeah, Josh or George.
What is this?
Listen,
This is
10 minutes.
What is his name though? I can't. Owens.
Yeah, Owens something. Owen Schroyer.
Owen Schroyer. There you
Yeah.
go.
What's the significance of this, though? A response to video shot in Austin of deranged goblin creatures attacking the press. Okay.
Oh,
Interesting.
how long ago was that? It was 1 hour ago.
All right, let's watch this airplane that turned over.
It sure did.
Loud.
Absolutely
In terms of the
unbelievable.
recent string of aviation incidents, Tom.
That's interesting.
This is going to yet again raise the concern about FAA.
No.
Oh, that's in
This is
Canada.
so-
Now, this
So
is
ridiculous.
a Canadian air traffic control tower, and this is under Canadian authority once it crosses the border.
Well, at least he
And
says
yet, As
that.
you know, there has been this talk about maybe staff cuts at
Such
the
bullshit.
FAA
They have not
as
cut
part
any
of President
FAA
Trump's effort to
tower
trim down the
personnel.
federal workforce.
Yeah, none of those. So
And yet,
I think
as
there's
the involvement of
45,000
the FAA has been
employees for
complaining
the
that
for
they are
that
FAA.
specific the FAA, and they were talking about what the 400 or 500 people that did get cut were all probationary, and they hadn't even been there for over haven't even a year yet. In fact, he's cutting lines. My daughter talked to me today, and she was all up in arms about the National Forest Rangers were all getting. She's like, Trump's administration just defunded all the National Forest Rangers,
I know.
and they just cut all those jobs. And I was like, I don't think that's what happened.
I know.
I think what they did is they stopped hiring new ones, and they got
it's-
rid of all the temporary people.
They're having an hysterical reaction to everything Doge is doing, everything Trump is doing.
Well, it's all the probationary people, like 200,000 probationary people who don't have that civil employee guarantee of a job.
Right.
It's like if once you become an employee, you're guaranteed the job, which is ridiculous to me.
Ridiculous.
Ridiculous to me.
We got to.
You can't get fired.
We got to revisit all that. Anyway, so
and they are.
So to wrap up this Canadian crash, so it's a Delta, right? American plane, but
Subsidiary, yeah.
we think that there was wind involved, right? And we might have been pilot error, maybe not pilot error. They don't know yet. But dude, the fact that thing flips over and there were 80 people on the plane,
Yeah, 87, I
and
think.
no one died. That's a miracle.
Yeah, well,
They're all wearing a
God was
seatbelt,
watching
I
them.
guess.
It's an absolute
They
miracle.
said one of the people that were out there said they're all hanging there like bats.
right?
Upside down.
Can you imagine?
So they were also saying, so in those smaller planes, there's not a lot of headroom up
It's
there.
a regional plane.
When
Yeah.
those things flipped over, you may have a couple inches. So they were able to put their hand and push themselves up a little bit to release those belts. Had it been like a regular plane, there's 2, 3, 4 feet
That'd have been
between
tricky.
you. You wouldn't have been able to do that.
That'd
and if
have
you
been
do
weird.
release the thing, boom, you freaking break your neck or
Yeah,
something.
you're having
like
to
that.
do a quick somersault or something, though.
Right?
Yeah,
Dude.
I wouldn't do that.
And most people don't have the strength to land gracefully, right?
Right.
No, I would be all contorted, broken arm.
You're walking down.
Everybody's like, "Is everybody okay?" They hear this boom. Oh, it's Sean.
That was sorry, my belt just came
He
off.
blasted through this roof.
It's an explosion. No, some guy just fell.
He just fell through the ice.
Jeez.
But they got
What a miracle,
shout
though.
out to all the staff that were there.
Oh,
They were
yeah.
able to manage it. They kept their wits about them.
They did.
They practice how to get people off the plane when it's in the upright position. They never practice or even
Oh shit.
figure out how the hell we're going to get these people out with being upside down. And it's like the sled's not going to bow. The what is it? The slide's not going to pull out.
You're right.
So it's
Well, they just
completely
walked
different.
off that.
Yeah, they just walked
Well,
out.
yeah, they did, but I mean, but under normal conditions, like there's a process. And there people were like, oh, I need to get my backpack, I need to get my phone. It's like,
No, you
Slade's
don't.
like, no, get the hell off the plane
Absolutely.
because you're gonna fucking die because the fuel is coming right out of this thing. And Johnny on the spot for those the firefighters that went out
They
there.
put it out quick
They went out there immediately, within minutes, and started dousing that thing.
because that thing
It was
was
amazing.
it was a fireball.
Yep.
I mean, I'm amazed the plane didn't like completely just disintegrate with fire. So that was it was excellent all around.
Yeah.
A very exciting story that they didn't die. So anyway, that was exciting.
I'll wait to hear what the final results are of the cause of it.
Yeah.
Is it weather related? Should they have turned around? Was there an issue below that little 500-foot mark where they should have been?
Well, it looked like it was
told to
coming
move
down.
on?
With that video, right? It looks like it was descending pretty quick.
Quick. It hit hard.
Yeah. So I don't know. Again, was it pilot? Was it a mixture of all
Yeah.
the above kind of a thing? Who knows?
Do not know.
Because
I
and I remember I wasn't even down here yet, but there was a real bad wreck here at Dallas Fort Worth by a wind shear.
Was that the Delta?
I don't know what plane, but it was back in the 80s
Yeah.
maybe. And
That was the Delta Airlines.
yeah, it was a big wind shear and it killed a bunch of folks. And they've put in a bunch of wind shear equipment to be able to predict that
Yep.
in ground
it
flights.
also took out people on the 360.
Yeah, it did.
It hit some cars.
Yeah. It just,
All the debris.
Imagine being just driving
just
in your
driving,
car.
listen to Journey.
Yeah, what the hell?
Boom!
It has to be Journey, huh? Wheel in the sky.
Wheel in the sky.
Wheel in the sky keeps on hurt. Oh no!
Oh, that's bad. That's a bad joke.
So I was driving down the road. I didn't see plane parts fall down. Then I get this text message from the Total Wine Kevin. Shout out to Kevin. Thank you very much, sir. And he's like, "Hey, Sean, how you doing?" And I was, I'm paraphrasing, but he was like, he said, "Hey, look, we have availability for an Iron Root event that's happening, and we have 3 spots available." And immediately I'm thinking,
Shit.
Chuck is fucked.
No. You were thinking Paul is fucked. That's probably
No,
what
I
you were
was
thinking.
not. It was somebody's fucked. I don't know who it was, but then I was like, "Are you sure there's not 4?" And I sent him back. He was like, well, I talked to him, and he was like, "Well, we'll see. I don't know yet." But anyways,
There was plenty of
the
space.
initial 100%. But initially, I thought this was an event that was occurring at Total Wine.
Yeah,
And so I
no.
thought, oh, this is really good. And I don't even know when it is. I actually learned that it was there. Was it like
it was
Yeah.
that Friday we were at Total Wine.
Yeah, I didn't.
Oh, that's when it was. We were actually at Total Wine, and they were like,
Right.
"No, idiots, it's out in Denison." And I was thinking, "Fuck, that's a long drive." Because I'm thinking of time management.
Well, that's why I was asking about a party bus or a helicopter at least.
Oh,
Helicopter.
you thought maybe they would have?
Yeah, curried us up
VIPs.
there. Yeah.
Yeah, we're from the Dudes Like Us podcast.
What the hell, man?
Got a-
Get your shit
You
together.
got a party bus with a pole in the middle and
Yeah,
dancers
So-
and
and a
everything.
red carpet in their parking lot.
went through great lengths to try to massage the circumstance a little bit, and I was kind of like, "Are you sure?" Then I went back to Total Wine. And I talked to the manager. It was Castle Christie, and then there was another one. I forget the young lady's name. Damn it, I need to remember her name. But she was like, I was like, "Hey, man, we got 1 or 2 more. I mean, is that crazy to bring them out there?" She was like, "Bring them. It's not a big deal. This is an appreciation thing. Just go out there and just put our store number on there. There's plenty of people that aren't going that were invited. Just go. Just
Yeah.
put guest on there. You're going to be fine." So
Yeah.
I give Chuck the thumbs up. And then he's like, "Oh, that sounds great." He calls me the next day. "Oh, fuck you. I'm not going."
Yeah, what's
Yeah,
up with that?
It's quite
That's a
violent.
direct quote.
Yeah, what happened there, man?
My brother is in town visiting for the weekend from Phoenix.
Oh.
Well, apparently he
I
could have
know
come too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but they were interested in watching the NASCAR race.
Oh, the NASCAR race.
Yeah.
But anyway, Iron Root was very, very cool because I think everyone thought we were Total Wine employees
No,
for
they
one thing.
did. They 100% did. The whole
Yes.
thing was catered to thanking the Total to informing them more about
Yeah.
the
On
Iron
how
Root
to
product.
sell and
It was
How
an
to
stuff like
sell
that.
it.
appreciation. Yeah, absolutely.
that.
So we had, if you go to the normal Iron Root presentation, it is a lengthy one. It may be an hour and a half.
And
The
It's
other
a good one. It's one of the better ones out there.
It is
It's,
good.
it's the best I've seen.
But
personally.
this one we went to was special.
Oh, yeah.
They had 4 different sections where they talked about 4 different aspects of the business and how can you do a better job selling their product. And knowledge is the core of that.
Oh,
so
yeah.
they started off we got lucky because we started off in the
beginning of the process.
yeah,
Yes.
there's a whole process where you have the big vats in there and they go through the whole thing, the heads, tails, and all the different variations and where they make
All the different
the
corns.
Saints Alley, the different types of corns, which is
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
And they didn't get too much into it because they're still limited on time, but it was very informative, extremely informative.
In my opinion, they covered just about everything you can cover start to finish. Of the process.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, there was really no stone unturned.
Yeah, then we moved into the barrel aging area.
Yep.
And that was very interesting as well because I didn't realize what I thought was interesting is they moved, since we're here in Texas, they moved away from the 53-gallon barrels to the 65-gallon.
Right.
Because it slows down the aging down here just enough to where it doesn't get just tree sap kind
Right.
of a thing, right?
Yep.
So I never even thought about that, and I wonder if other distilleries are playing with that, using the 65-gallon. Basically, the big wine barrels is what they are.
Oh, yeah.
That they've purchased instead of the bourbon barrels. They're big 65-gallon wine barrels, and they're using that to. And that's what bulk of their stuff is aging in right now.
Right.
I looked.
Right. And it was interesting because they do a ton of experimentation.
Oh yeah.
Right. Not only in their mash bills and in their approach to doing the fermentation and all this kind of stuff, but also even in their barrels. Like they try all sorts of different finishing that they're doing.
Right.
So yeah, that was cool. That was really cool. And the other thing I had never seen before is what they call it on the inside of the barrel. There were grooves. What did they call that?
They're grooves.
Yeah, just
so
I don't know what the
striations or something.
the official term of
they
it.
have it. It's kind of like zigzags on the inside where there's grooves, not necessarily scored into it, but it's
it was.
created.
Yeah, it
It
was.
looks like there was like fingers just scratched down, and there were like U's. So
Yeah.
so there was a valley and a peak, and he said the reason we do that is the peaks are more charred than the valleys.
So it gives them more variation.
More variation. Plus,
In
it
the-
Oh,
creates
in the barrels.
In the
I thought
barrels.
you were talking
On
about
the
the metal
in-
containers.
the inside of the barrels. Yeah.
the barrels. Plus, it also gives just a little bit more surface area.
Right. Yeah. It was excellent. It really was.
Yeah.
So
Good stuff.
the surface area is one of them, but it was the variation of the
char.
flavors because
Well, the
it's kind of
char.
like you get inside that char. Let's say it's a char 4. Well, hell, you can get a char 4, 3, and 2 and 1 in the same barrel.
Yeah.
Just by those grooves being in there because the char can't get into those every little nook and cranny.
Yeah.
I thought it was pretty
creates
amazing.
An interesting
The whole
blend
thing
of char. Yeah.
about them in the grooves, the fact that they mix up species of wood. They've got, the heads of the barrel were made from Europe French oak, and they got the side barrels with American white oak. And
That
how they
I
mix
had
it
never
all up.
heard either. That was new to me. I didn't know they had varying wood
There we go.
within the same barrel, and it was just the heads. The heads was a different wood than, like you said, the slats, or whatever they call them.
Right.
The staves. What do they call the? Guess I don't know what they call them.
You know, the staves.
Yeah.
Spiral
same-
cut barrel. Okay, that's interesting. So that's obviously something they do before they scorch it. So that's
Correct.
interesting.
Yeah, then the next step that we went to, I thought was the best part, was the tasting, where they had all these. They had 3 of their. They had a bourbon, a rye. Actually, they had 2 bourbons and a rye,
Mm-hmm.
and they had all these little tasting packets.
That were
With-
child protect lock.
Yeah, they were incredibly difficult to get into. but
Not for me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because of that experience, I went on Amazon and bought myself another little hand pocket knife. I usually have one all the time, and I haven't had one for like a year, and I went and I bought one. I got it in today. Here, I'm kind of proud of it. Hold on a
yeah,
second.
I struggled with the first one. I think I was the last one. I was just crinkling,
Yeah,
crinkle.
you start to panic.
Crinkle.
Because you're falling behind, and everybody,
Yes.
she's like, "Okay, open that up, and now what you're gonna get from this and this and that and this is you get the taste, and then you guys are like, and then on the second one, Sean's like, even Kevin had you hand you his
Knife.
pocket knife.
I threw it down on the table. I was like, "Fuck this."
So I eventually I was like, all right, this one I'm
So
just going to
funny.
rip so much off
That goes
that it
everywhere.
just, I was like, I'm just going to rip
It's like
it
a
in half.
bag of Cheetos.
But I will
Yeah.
tell you, it complemented the whiskey so well.
Well, the first one it was because she said, taste this one first. It's a Stroop waffle.
Right.
And I think it was cinnamon or caramel that she wanted you to taste.
Yes.
She goes, off this first sip, you'll taste this, this. And it did.
And that was the whole point. It was like you're comparing these things that were prepared in these packets against the taste that you're sampling.
Correct.
And she's wanting you to find that taste or experience that taste.
It almost makes me want to have a
in the
bowl
nose.
of like dehydrated cherries and some nuts and Stroop waffle up here.
Yeah. Like a little bin.
Like a little bin. Not to sit here and snack on them, but as we taste, we would snack on
And
them,
throw
I'm
some
sure.
durian in there.
Some durian.
Durian, not Gurian. Durian.
Yes. Durian. I wonder how that'll enhance the flavor.
Awful.
Sean, how's it enhancing the flavor of this
I'm
drink?
sure it's going to enhance the flavor of my mattress when I get home tonight.
Yeah.
We'll be like, God, this bourbon tastes like shit.
So it was pretty cool because we got to try the rye, which isn't even out yet. The sleight of hand rye,
Yeah.
Yeah.
which
Are you
they said it'll be out in the stores in 2 to 3 weeks.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
right.
is that what it was? Okay. Oh, the Promethean was the one.
The apotheosis.
The apotheosis.
Sleight of hand rye.
Yeah, that's not in the stores yet.
So their cost point on this is
Pretty good.
getting lower and lower, which is good. I don't know what the real deal is with that. Is it because they're trying to sell it? Because what I understood, and even what Jeff brought up, is that as an industry, sales are kind of going down across
Soft.
the board.
Yeah, but I've never heard of people lowering their prices when they get a price break. They were able to get their corn cheaper, or they're able to get this, and so they're able to pass those savings on to you. Who does that? No one does that anymore, it seems like. I was really not proud is not the right word, but I was impressed that they were lowering their prices, and I'm sure they're trying to position their bourbon in a sweet spot, right? In terms of a price point.
Well, there's a lot of competition at this price point.
There is.
Right? So maybe they're trying to lower it just a little bit. I mean, there's competition throughout the entire price
Oh, that's
spectrum.
what we're getting. We're going to get the orange wine, the Apotheosis 4 orange wine.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, it
It
sure
was
was.
It was very good.
It was really good. Yeah, I'm really impressed with their stuff up there. And they have a class act presentation. The family is really
You got
friendly.
Robert, Jonathan, and Marcia. And I don't recall what the father's name is.
It was Jim, wasn't it? Or James?
Yep, we met him too.
Yeah, very, very nice folks.
And I just felt guilty multiple times throughout the time we were there. They were like, "Oh yeah, so what location are you at?" And we're like, "Oh yeah, we're from Frisco."
They serve booze in Frisco?
What's funny is they were every single person we talked to of that family thought that we were a Total Wine representative.
I didn't. I told them all. I was like, we're from a podcast.
Oh, did you?
Yeah,
That's funny.
yeah. But of course, some of them, like Nellie, knew us. And
Oh yeah. That was the first time I had met her. She's really cool.
really,
Yeah, I
Oh.
like Nellie.
you know,
She's very knowledgeable.
She's extremely knowledgeable, and she, from what I understood, she's got a huge collection of whiskey.
And she's
That
their
dwarfs
director of marketing, right? Is that what she basically
She should
something
be.
like
I don't
that?
know what her title is there, but in fact, I couldn't find it on
Oh,
here.
there they are.
But there were people. Shout out to Amanda that showed up with her father. Is it Ron? Was it Ron or Jim? I feel bad now. I forgot. I think it was Ron.
Yeah, I forget.
And Kevin was there, of course, and we saw some other. I didn't see Peyton there, but there was a bunch of Total Wine people from all over the region.
Yeah,
and
it was really neat
they
experience.
set up a dinner, a little or kind of a.
Kind of like a little snack bar.
Well, I mean, it qualifies a dinner. It had the buffalo chicken.
Ooh, that was
paste.
good.
Yeah, but
Buffalo
they
chicken
had that
paste.
ice
I
cream.
don't think they call it a paste.
Yeah, it was.
How about the ice cream where you dump the bourbon on top of the ice cream? Dude, but that was that good or what? The ice cream.
Oh, it was good. That was from downtown McKinney. The
Chuck's
creamer.
like, damn it, I missed out. They had that buffalo chicken paste.
I asked
really
somebody. I was like, you need to get us the recipe for that. It was the buffalo chicken dip,
It was really good.
not a paste.
It was, really,
it was
really
like
good.
a pate. They had really ground it down a lot, but it was terrific though.
Yeah.
It
you
really
know,
was.
They wanted you to
I'm
put it on a
usually-
cracker or a little
No, you just eat it.
tostada. She said use it. She wanted us to lose a chip on it, and I was like, screw that. Scoop, put it on the plate.
I'm usually not a fan of those dips, but that was actually
It
excellent.
was very thick.
And like you mentioned, the ice cream.
Oh yeah.
They had
Prometheus in there.
Prometheus made ice cream.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was
good.
terrific. I had 2 helpings,
I'm sure you did.
and I ate it with a fork.
Yeah, I had a fork as well. I had the last bit of it thaw so I could drink it. Drink my ice cream.
I got another Prometheus shot and dumped it in there. And was
Yeah.
able to swirl it up and get all the.
Oh, I
last
noticed when I
remains.
brought 2 back, Sean's like, how come you have 2?
That's exactly what I said.
The only thing about that whole experience is that you always want to set good expectations with your spouse about when you're when you're going to leave the house on
So
yet,
back up.
on yet another excursion.
Figure out this. So we first of all, whenever we do these events, it's difficult to get our wives on board because, well, not for me, but for you guys, because you're like, oh, I just love my wife so much. I'm going to spend so much time with her. Whatever. So, and they're like, oh, what are you talking about? It's my time. So, we finally get a time. They allocate this. All right, man, we got a 3-hour window. It's a 3-hour window.
It starts at 1.
Starts at 1.
Yeah, we said, from 1 to 3.
Yeah, 1 to 3, 1 to 4, maybe.
Except
1 to
it's
3.
an hour away. Okay.
Hour to get up there, hour to get back.
Didn't factor that in. You guys going to go to Whataburger on the way there? So we stop at Whataburger, and then she goes, oh, so 1 to 3? So it's now, what'd she say? So now it's 11 to 4. And I was like, okay, well, it's okay. And then it became 11 to 6.
We didn't get home. I didn't get home till like 6:30.
I was like, shit, man.
It was a long day. I had no idea, but they had such an in-depth
It was
classing.
great. It really was great.
It was classy. It was. There was shout out to Iron Root Republic.
Yeah.
They did
Absolutely.
a fantastic
It was
job.
outstanding.
I'm impressed with their operation. I
Yeah.
definitely am. And their bourbon. Shit, man.
Yeah, I was. And then
they're-
I shared with them, and I didn't like their stuff. I thought their stuff was horrible, but I said, I was like, and once my palate become more refined, I started really appreciating it. Now I absolutely 100% love your stuff.
I forget who you said. It might have been Robert.
It was Robert.
that you said that to. I was like going, oh, no, Sean, what are you saying?
Yeah, you got to
He's
tell
like,
them the truth.
Man, when I first got your bottle, I thought it sucked ass.
I don't think I said that.
But, then I drank it a little bit more, and I was like, I guess it's okay.
And you invited us, so it's good.
Yeah.
No, I did
Yeah.
not.
And now that we're here,
None of
I
that
dig it.
happened. None of that.
And the whole time, I'm sure
what I
the whole
told
time
him
he's going, what the
is
fuck?
we bought the Saints Alley Nobleman. The was
very-
one of our
yeah, it was
first
one of the
purchase,
first ones.
and that was the one we had our first initial experience on. And when we were first starting out like that, or within a
true.
year and a half,
It
our
was
palates
early.
were nowhere near that. We were still hung up on getting the easy to drink weeded whiskeys, and that's what
It was
we were
early.
at.
It was early in the process. There's
Anytime
no
we
question
pulled up
about it.
anything with a little bit of spice to it, we're like, "What is that? That's horrible."
I don't remember. Did you remember something like that, Jeff?
That was 100%.
Maybe
Paul.
that was Sean.
You absolutely said that.
Oh,
You know, it's
my
like I don't
God.
want to drink anything with rye.
Okay, I never said that.
Yeah, you did.
I don't like pumpernickel either.
I
Yeah.
didn't. I don't remember saying any of those things.
And I don't
These
like
are all
women
lies.
anymore.
Like-
I'm sorry.
Like
I was-
women?
I don't know where that
Wow.
came
Yeah,
from.
where'd that come from?
I don't
wow.
know.
Actually, the Nobleman, this latest release is outstanding.
Yeah, it's excellent.
All right,
Really, really good.
I gotta tell you,
No.
what is it? My computer is it a hardware? I guess it's a hardware issue. If
Take
it's
it
not
to-
a software,
Take it to Best Buy or somewhere and say, well, how do I fix this?
I think it's the podcast god saying, you don't need a laptop right there.
no, it's not. And I wish you'd stop saying that.
I know you do. But I'm not backing down.
Me neither.
You may need to take it
Get over
to
it.
a computer shop.
Well, whatever. It's just a little frustrating. I just.
Anyway, I think we should talk about the bourbon we're drinking.
Ooh, it's time?
I think it is.
All right. Well, it's up on the screen. What is it, Mr.
Well, this
Mr.
is
Jeff?
Well, we're going back to this one is readily available on all the shelves. This is Knob Creek 9, just a standard Knob Creek,
Readily available, but
which is a Jim Beam
that's right.
bourbon.
It is.
But the Knob Creek stuff is good. We have this 9, we have the 12-year, we have the 9-year single barrel. I think we have one more out there that I can't think of. But this 9-year bourbon, now what's the proof on this? 100 proof? This is outstanding.
It is
in my
very,
opinion.
very good.
Yeah.
And so this is not the small batch. Oh, it is. It says small batch on the bottle.
Yeah, Knob Creek small batch, which could be, 10,000 bottles that we
Right.
know of,
Yeah.
Small batch is kind of arbitrary from what Robert said in the
Depending on the size of the distillery.
correct.
Right. Because absolutely.
Small
Jim
batch
Beam,
could be 10,000 barrels.
absolutely.
Small batch could be 5 barrels.
Yeah, because that's exactly at 1845. It is literally 6 to 8 barrels. I think is what Bob said.
Right.
So now, what did he say about cast strength? Josh was making a point about cast strength.
Well,
being,
he said some of there's no government law that says small batch means this, barrel strength means this, cast strength means this, single barrel means this.
but
So you could say that it's a single barrel and not really be a single barrel. Is what he's saying. He goes, but basically everyone follows that it actually is just one single
right.
barrel.
Yeah, I think single barrel. I think everybody probably follows that one.
Well, because we were talking about the bottled and bond, we kind of got into the small batch talk. He's like, well, there's no regulations around that.
Right.
That dictates a small batch is this.
Kind of like a gentleman's rule type of
Right.
thing.
So he goes, basically everyone follows what that is, but the small batch is the one that has the most variance to it.
So my understanding was small batch and cast strength, I thought they were synonymous.
No.
So they may not be, because small batch they might dilute.
Correct.
Right? They may take 10,000 barrels and dilute it with water until it's 100 proof.
Right.
But cast strength means literally whatever it's in the barrel, they don't dilute, and they make
Correct.
it 117 or whatever
Right.
it's coming out of the barrel at.
Correct.
Right? Yeah, so I guess that's Josh's point. There really isn't consistency. Different distilleries do different things.
Right.
So anyway,
Yep.
that's interesting.
Yeah. Do we have any notes on this? I mean, this is pretty classic.
Yeah.
Bourbon flavors, if you ask me. There's some sweetness to it. It's easy to drink. The nose I think is really good.
So, AI's overview, Knob Creek 9-year bourbon has tasting notes of vanilla, oak, caramel, fruit, and spice. And
Pretty
once you say
typical.
it, it's all there.
Pretty
Every
typical.
single
Yeah.
taste,
definitely-
rich, sweet.
Yeah, I definitely pick up the vanilla.
Yeah, I definitely get some spice.
It's full body. Fruit,
I get some spice in the nose for sure.
roasted nuts. You taste that charred oak in there. It's peppery, spiced, kind of builds.
It's got a peppery finish, no question. Because I wouldn't call it a burn. It's just a peppery finish.
Right.
It's got a little dark chocolate and leather at the tail end.
Leather.
Leathery.
Do we eat a lot
It's a
of
little
leather?
dry.
Do we eat a lot
Nut
of leather
oil.
and we know kind of how leather tastes and how it finishes?
Well, it's what you would think it would. You ever take your baseball glove and
Chew on
cover
it.
up your face and
And cut strips off of it and
Just chew on it.
just kind of.
It's cow. You can.
Yeah, you could.
so in other words, it's like a chicharrone. Oh, that's
Yes,
a pig.
that's
I'm
a pig.
sorry. Damn it.
A chicharrone? What the hell is that?
It's pigskin.
Oh, really?
Yes. You know those pigskin, pork rinds?
So there are other notes out there that people
Interesting.
have noted regarding the notes of melted salty butter on a granary toast,
Ooh.
a touch of rye with caramel sweetness, notes of candy floss and nut oil,
What?
a light spice and
What's
charred
what's
oak.
candy floss?
Did you say nut oil?
Candy floss and nut oil?
God. Okay, you should probably skip that one next time. What the hell?
I got some nut oil.
Yeah.
Notes of brown sugar and barrel char. And
Candy,
notes
so-
of cherry, peanut butter, cinnamon, and maple.
Yeah.
So candy floss is cotton candy. What's it called? Cotton candy.
Candy floss.
I've never heard
Candy-
that term before.
I have not either. That's kind of gross.
Well, because they use it in conjunction with nut oil.
Well, that didn't help. That definitely didn't help.
Yeah, with some candy floss and nut oil.
That's not something I would put to advertise my bourbon.
I know.
I certainly wouldn't put that on the list.
Right on the small of your back. Good Lord.
Yes.
Gross.
Anyways,
Cool.
so we got the Knob Creek 9-year, and
Yep.
for 100 proof, which what this is, let's go ahead and grade it.
I'd give this a 7.9.
Whoa.
Wow. It's a solid one.
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing to hide. This one
Damn.
is something you can have on your shelf and you can buy. What is the sticker price on this, Mr. Producer?
Probably around $40 is my guess. $50 maybe.
That's a really strong rating, man.
Yeah. Around $50-$60, depending on where you're at. What is that
Yeah.
one that's 39? What is that one?
It's probably $375, maybe.
Yeah. Well, it's not
Interesting.
very
$750.
expensive, but you know,
So the 750 is $30. The big ass 1.75 is 56.
oh, so
That's a good price point.
Yeah.
it is great. And you know what? And I think I might, if it's available, get one because it is solid. And you know
It's
what
good.
else?
Solid.
I like having those big tankards. You know.
Well, that's a huge.
Big
Have you
one.
ever seen that?
oh,
It's like a
love it.
brick. It's
It's
like a glass brick.
It's a nice thick glass.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it takes up less real estate on my shelves.
Oh, it might. you
Put them
can-
all sideways.
Yeah, there you go. That
Just
would work.
saying.
That would work.
All right, so Jeff is at 7.9.
Yeah.
Paul, what say you?
No disrespect, but a solid 7.0.
All right.
I'm going to go right in the middle. I kind of want to give it a 7.9, but I really can't. And it's simply because I gave Pinhook an 8.3, and that was a phenomenal one.
Is that
So-
only 100 proof?
Oh, this is the 100 proof one.
Yeah.
Noted. Thank you. I'll do a 7.725.
Good.
It's good stuff.
All solid.
Yeah, we need to try the single barrel out there and the 12-year. We need to put those into the rotation.
We have tried them before.
Yes.
Okay, so they're not unopened. Okay.
Well, actually, the 12-year is a brand new bottle.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, well, that'd be exciting for the next podcast.
It used to be hard to find. I think it's a little bit easier to get now.
Well, good. Good.
It's very tasty.
Yeah, it
Oh,
is
it's
good.
excellent.
It is good.
All right.
Well, today is February 18th, and I'm going to remind those folks out there, if you haven't heard of the Dudes Like Us podcast before, it's Sean, Paul, Jeff, and our producer Chuck, and we like to come out and do this one day a week, and we try to get 2 shows out as soon as possible. We are just regular folks that grew up in different regions of the world or United States, different mentalities, strong points, weak points. We all kind of collaborate together and poke the shit out of each other, and we love it, and we're having fun doing it. It's a hobby, but we'd love for you to jam that subscribe button and listen to us. We're here up all the time. Direct message us if there's anything you'd like for us to talk about, or tell us we're full of shit, because 9 times out of the 10, Paul is.
Yeah. We get a lot of things
I
wrong.
think it's. I
Just
call,
to
I
say.
call us the podcast of incorrect, not misinformation, but incorrect
We
information.
think we're
It's just
right.
flat out wrong.
We just think
Yeah.
we're right until we fact-checked us later on.
And I just love the passionate debate we have when all 3 points are wrong. All 3 of them.
Yes, we've been there.
Yeah.
We've been there.
Yeah. And what's fun about it is you go back and edit it and you fact check it.
I sit there and I fact-checked. I
and you're
was like,
like, damn.
we were all wrong.
There's a lot of that. Damn.
I was listening to
Yes.
we did the day of, I forget what day it was. We were talking about We Are the World,
Oh, yeah.
and you put in the little soundbite of Bruce Springsteen. I heard that today about shit my pants. I was like, oh my God. That's so
I want to watch that documentary.
It was good.
I need to keep. I brought that up to Shelly, and she was like, "Yeah, no." I was like, well, hold on, it's interesting. The story behind the story, you know. And she was like, "Yeah, no." And I'll convince her.
Good.
She was hoping for something else to watch, I guess.
Oh.
I don't know.
Just we could do it nude
Oh,
Wow.
does that help?
sometimes.
Huh. I've never tried that approach.
Then you stand
Do
on
you
the
have a
side.
blanket or something? Maybe a sheet?
No, we sweat on the leather sofa down there.
Oh, stick to it.
Yes.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
just charming.
Nice.
Nice.
I may try that. Shelly, would you like to watch The Voice naked tonight?
Yeah, you know what? When you have dogs like the ones that yours,
Oh,
they're
yeah.
just very.
We'd be covered in dog hair.
Well, the
yeah.
crotch is open, and they're going to go nosing right in there.
Oh,
God,
100%.
Jeff,
Yes.
I don't need that visual.
Was that
They're your dogs.
was that
Yeah,
the wet nose of the dog, or?
Flipping the nutsack.
Oh,
No,
It'd
yeah.
be like a South Park video game.
we definitely lock the dogs away whenever that kind of stuff's happening.
Oh, you do.
Yeah, we have to, because like you said, they're sniffing around and
No eye contact.
being all nosy.
Stop
and-
looking at me. Don't judge me.
The buttholes are right out in the open. They're like, ooh, let me go smell that.
Ooh, you got a cold nose.
Jesus. So, at the beginning of Donald President Trump's presidency, he declared the cartels of Mexico as a terrorist organization.
They certainly did.
That was a big one.
And as a result, at least of effective, I guess today or earlier this week, which was today or yesterday, they started the drone program where they're starting to do some recon.
Yeah, so I read that they were also doing this during the Biden administration. I was like, really? And so the CIA was flying Reaper drones unarmed, right? Just to kind of do reconnaissance over the border, right? And now I'm thinking they're doing a lot more.
Well,
they're writing shit down, and you know what I think they're doing? They're doing target analysis. Is what I think they're doing.
You're gonna see these what you normally see over in the Mideast, these gray videos of the bomb going in and these fentanyl labs just being destroyed.
Very possible.
All Chinese owned.
And if shit starts escalating, you're going to start seeing cartel leader mansions being kind of blown up.
Well, I wonder. Well, what I'm afraid of is any of that spills over into Texas. I mean, we're not right next to the border, but we're the state right next to it, right?
It totally can. But I think what it's going to do ultimately, it's going to create an environment over in Mexico that's going to be conducive for their politics to be able to be more safe. Because if you take these cartels out, because right now there's a militia. They have all these secret underground black ops in Mexico of all these different, it's almost kind of like a tribal. You got these different areas, and you can't get a politician out there that's not going to get whacked.
Oh, dude, so many mayors get killed.
And it's
one
just like
after another. I'm just like, damn.
It's like, why would anyone want to do that? And I think that once you start patrolling these areas and taking out some of that bad element, I think that's what needs to happen. I think I feel bad saying that, but at the same time, you can't go around killing people like that.
Yeah,
you can't do it.
I think they will push back though.
Well,
the question is how. Like, what are they going to do?
Well, how and
they're
how
not going
much?
to push back very hard.
Well, keep in mind, there's a lot of Americans living in Mexico. A lot.
Yeah.
So they could just start a targeted campaign against expatriates that are down there. They could, I guess, just kind of.
They could come right across the border and just do a quick hit and run.
They can do some October 7th type border killings and go back home.
Yeah, but that wouldn't be that's not a good end game for them.
No,
because if they're going to do like the October where they're flying whatever, if they get over the border, they're going to be killing their own kind because all those border cities they're Mexicans mostly. Yeah. They want the union. They're not against it. So it doesn't make sense to go in there. You'd want to go to, start whacking some of the leaders that are having some influence. That's why I'm thinking, good Lord, like Elon Musk and Donald Trump, can you just imagine? Not just them, but how about the dudes from Doge, those young kids? Can you imagine a security team around them 24/7 to keep those boys safe?
They need it.
Because people are losing their fucking minds. When you cut $1 trillion out of a budget, and mind you, they don't have the authority to cut shit. So let me rephrase that. When you expose $1 trillion of bullshit that someone needs to cut, they're going to be like, we don't need you checking on that stuff. And you can't check on it if you're dead. I'm scared for them.
You made an interesting point that they don't have the authority to cut. So I was researching that today. So obviously the House is the power of the purse, right?
Correct.
Yeah. And then it has to go through Senate approval. But the way they do these things is that the agencies, the bureaucracies, right? They submit a budget, and that budget is debated on by Congress or by the House, and they pass appropriations bills, which is a broad amount to give them. They generally, for the most part, don't tell them what to spend it on, unless there's particular earmarks. Or if there's particular projects, specific line item projects that the House wants to get done.
So USAID says, I need a budget of, here's my budget is $55 billion this year.
Correct.
And then they may give a general thing, we're going to use it for this and this, but they say, okay, we'll give you $50 billion.
Yep.
But they spend it however the hell they want.
That's exactly right. And because of that, it does give Trump and Doge and this team the authority to decide what to spend it on, what to cut, what to increase, what to decrease.
Well, I think
so. They do have the authority to do this.
One of the arguments I've said is, well, this money has already been appropriated.
That's right.
they can impact things going forward, but the money's already been appropriated to that agency.
Yeah, but
So there was
it doesn't matter. They can cut it.
There
Well,
was
I don't know if it's true or not, but that's what some of the argument against it has. Well, it's already been appropriated. The Congress has already appropriated this. The president can't go in there and say, no, you don't get that money now.
Well, they can just say you're not going to spend it. How about that? So they're going to be under budget.
There was an interview on Joe
Right.
Rogan with, I believe, a gentleman named Mike Benz.
I started watching the Tucker
And
one
he,
about him.
He was talking about how the Doge folks know that they just can't go in there and start slashing stuff and killing it, because he kind of made an interesting analogy. And he was like, look, our government is a breathing thing. You know, you can't, it's like a human body. You can't go over there and take out the liver and expect your body to function normal. You have to go in there and surgically do things where it's not going to affect things.
Sure.
So, today, February 18th, one of the actions put out there today by Trump, reigning independent. This was a real quick one, I'll say. Reigning in independence agencies, so-called dependent agencies like the Federal Trade Commission, FTC, the Federal Communications Commission, and Securities and Exchange Commission have exercised enormous power over the United American people without presidential oversight. Now he's got 3 bullet points. These agencies issues rules and regulations that cost billions of dollars and implicate some of the most controversial policy matters that do so without the review of the Democratic elected president. And then number 2, they also spend American tax dollars and set priorities without consulting the president while settling their own performances. Now they will no longer impose rules on the American people without oversight or accountability. I guess what is the saying on there is that
their free reign is gone.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now it's just like you are now a subsidiary of the president of the United States.
Absolutely.
And things need to be, you are no longer just going to make decisions on your own.
Yep.
And there's just 3 other major things that they were talking about, but we're not going to touch them on.
I mean, that's
one.
why it's important that the president put in place people that are leading these agencies that are cost conscientious.
Correct.
And that's what he's done.
Yeah.
He has put somebody in charge.
You got to
each of these.
Well, you got to get the folks who've been in there for years and years
Get
and
'em out.
years, because you can't fire them. Get them out of there
Get 'em out.
and get new folks in there.
Absolutely, because this government operates under a bloated premise.
Yes.
Jeez. Lots of stuff, man.
Yeah.
There's a very interesting times coming up, and I hope it's all for the best. Dudes like us, thank you, Mr. Chuck, for our producer for the first half. It's February 18th. I'm Sean.
I'm Paul.
And I'm Jeff.